morning to all. So this event is a hybrid event. Okay. So it's good that from the early morning, 10 o'clock, we have our eminent guest sitting us. So good morning to all, to the delegates sitting inside the hall and the watching us over online, which is live on War India and Brand Book website and over our YouTube channel. Welcome all. So we have delegates from the industry and the corporate world. We have speakers, CIOs, CTOs present here, and they are watching us online. We have very senior technical evangelists from various industry verticals, and we have respected ladies and gentlemen and guests who are attending the event virtually from across the globe. Welcome you all. Thank you for joining all 20th edition of Infotech Forum. It gives me immense pleasure in welcoming you to this hybrid mode of IT forum. Undoubtedly, digital technologies have advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. Today, we are witnessing our flagship event, the annual Infotech Forum, both physically and digitally. We have literally reached the digital age in advance. Initially, a decade back, we thought about how to secure and enhance productivity of the organizations, but now we are seeing how technology has made communication unbelievably fast and convenient. It has paved the way for multifunctional devices like the smartwatch and the smartphone. Computers are increasingly becoming faster, more portable, and high-powered than ever before. With all of these revolutions, technology has also made our lives easier, faster, better, and more fun. Imagine a platform where you gain the wisdom of real-world experience of those who work at organizations like your own. That is what the eminent CIO of India, we call ECIO platform, which we have created 11 years back. That is spread now across the country. It is all about powering and empowering. In today's fast-paced business environment, CIOs and other leaders must collaborate to stay ahead of ever-emerging and evolving technological innovations. First of all, I thank all the technology leaders who have shared their best practices, which we have published in this year's brand book. And today, these technology evangelists will be felicitated as the eminent CIOs of India 2022 and 23. Congratulations to all in advance. Today, we have very senior leaders who are joining us in the Infotech Forum and will share their key insights, share how a well-managed peer network allows you access to fresh perspectives that do not always match your own, can drive new creative thinking. Talking about the theme of today's event, optimizing the world of remote work. Remote work continues to be the new normal, and cloud and mobile technologies remain essential. They help ensure that distributed workforce have the appropriate resource to stay connected and productive. Technology can either hinder productivity or significantly improve it. It is all about making the most of what's available. Today's IT environment uses a combination of public, private, cloud, alongside as premise infrastructure. With no sign of slowing down, in India, its IT spending is projected to a total of 114.9 billion in 2022, growing at the rate of 7.7% from last year. Inflation is on the top of the mind for everyone. Central banks around the world are focusing on fighting inflation, with overall inflation rates expected to be reduced through the end of 2023. However, the current level of volatility being seen in both inflation and currency exchange rates is not expected to deter CIO's investment plan for 2022. Organizations that do not invest in the short term will likely fall behind the medium term and risk not being around the long term. It is time for tech leaders to rejuvenate their skill sets with the latest offerings from the OEMs Today, in the day-long session, we are going to witness how tech companies are complementing the new age technologies with their latest offerings. Technology allows us to communicate instantly with people in our neighborhood and around the globe. This innovation not only keeps us connected, but can help us live safer and healthier lives. Thank you very much for being with us and request you to be part of all the wonderful sessions ahead. Thank you very much. So let's welcome the Chief Marketing Officers and Head of Marketings in the IT industry. So I'll start with Mr. Rahul Singh, Vice President and Head of Marketing, SAP India. Welcome, Rahul. Welcome. Naved Chaudhary, Head of Marketing, Ingram Micro. Nikhil Dudwakar, Head of Marketing, Kaspersky. Prasenjit Roy, CMO, Entity Global. Can I have the Nancy, please? I have to invite Vinny Sharma, Director APJ Securinix. There is one seat is left. One of our CMO friend, he caught with heavy cough. So I have requested someone to join. Anita Kukreja, Head Marketing, iSwap. Welcome. I'm glad that from morning I have not heard any cough inside the room. We should be thankful for ourselves. Welcome, Anita. All CMOs are guarded by the ladies, both sides, left and right. Welcome. So let me talk about the theme of the session is technology is getting personalized again. So what is the idea behind this? In order to stay relevant in today's hyper-competitive marketplace, personalization becomes a critical strategy for current and future success. Today, a plethora of personalization software tools, including AI and machine learning algorithms, allows us to achieve 1:1 personalization like never before. In order to take full advantage of personalization technology, we must first understand what it is and how it benefits both brands and consumers. So we have very selected question, but I think by seeing the time, we will structure the question accordingly. There is a specific question to the specific leaders. To start with, what is your take on the three critical components, that is envision, design and deliver smarter experience across the entire customer journey to unlock value and deliver growth? I will start with Prasenjit.
Hi.
Yes, it is working, Prasenjit.
Okay, thanks, sir. So, Gartner has predicted that in the times to come, business would be fought on enhanced CX. Okay, so customer experience is such a key thing that is going to differentiate business in times to come. What are the three factors of customer experience? One, the role of marketing. Second, personal development. And third is the end-to-end mapping of the journey. Companies who have associated their growth, margin with the business and will attain success in CX. Okay? So if I look at Envision, what the companies need to do is basically look at customer obsession. Okay? you have to look at a customer obsession, and that is the only way going forward. The other thing that you can do is basically look at how you create the end-to-end mapping journey. One of the problems with a lot of companies is the mapping journey is still the path to purchase. The real mapping journey starts after you've acquired the customer. Very few companies really focus on that. They feel once you have got the customers in my bag, I have delivered it, things are over, okay? That's the starting point. That's not over, okay? The other one is the cross-functional experience, okay? CX is in a company is not confined only to marketing. Marketing is the enabler, it's going to execute it. But you need a lot of cross-functional expertise. If I look at the second element, which is the design part, okay, how do you ensure that you are capturing the customer sentiments? How do you ensure that you have the customer's interactions and operational data in a dashboard? How do you ensure that while you are working with the customers, everything is plowed back on the design table, you can work with the sentiments? Third, if I go to the delivery part, the delivery part is where you need to have a lot of those channels. In today's world, we're talking about omni-channel. Each and every channel has to work, okay, in order to have a seamless customer obsession that I talked about. The second thing that needs to come in is your apps and platforms, technology, okay? Are you using the technology, the difference, for example, AI, ML, AR, VR, all of them are needed in terms of enhanced customer experience. Are you doing that? The delivery, okay, part, at the end of it comes the output, okay? And the output is where we start with the customer loyalty. Now, customer loyalty is at the root. From the customer loyalty, you need to move to the customer advocacy. And the topmost level, which many of the companies are trying to go, is where we can have rainmakers from the customers. Are we in a position to scale up all these three levels? I think a lot of companies are working on this. It's a motion in progress, but I think in years to time, this is going to be the differentiator. Over to you, Deepak.
Yeah, good. So how, Anita, you take the statement of Prasenjit?
Hello?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Deepak, for giving me an opportunity. Though it was a last minute thing, but I felt that, it'll be nice to hear out my colleagues, who stand by me and work day in and out in their brands, right? I completely agree with what Prasenjit mentioned right now. I have a few things to add up from my end. The way we look at, when we at ISWAP look at, and I'm sure that each and every brand looks at, is the ultimate customer experience that comes on the ground. It is about the journey that's mapped right from the beginning of a call being, for example, somebody has visited my website, the kind of time that we take to respond back to a customer or a prospect is very, very important. Right from there, the customer experience journey starts. And right up to, like Prasenjit mentioned, even beyond the sale has happened. It does not end that you have received a sale or you have really onboarded the customer. It still continues beyond that. Many companies do forget about that. They do not pay attention to that. But that's the biggest mistake any brand or any company would make. Because, if you're not really looking at the complete mapping the journey and the entire cycle, it is definitely going to impact the brand over the long haul. Because it is not a short-term goal, right? It is also about hand-holding and being there for the customer whenever required. And I think that sums up as a customer journey that is to be, kind of provisioned as a customer experience handhold.
Good. Nikhil, what is your take on it?
Is it? Okay. Thank you, Deepak. While I'm going to echo what my friends here are talking about, I would like to take this opportunity also to, while I address the eminent audience here, primarily the IT decision makers, the customer journey is, in the marketing terminology, we define primarily right from the start about our business goals and marketing goals, right? But when it comes to the journey, here we are also talking about the subject of personalization. It involves various tools and automation or machine learning tools that marketers do use for this journey that we want to take for this customers. And here is where the understanding has to come from, even from the IT heads and IT investments. So how do we take this journey through? I would say the three pillars that you, the three stages that you spoke about, envision, design and delivery, they are not just three stages, but they are the pillars across the entire journey. They just don't go away. You know, you have to have the envision part, the design part and the delivery part all throughout the journey, whether it's a new customer or it's a existing customer. Most of the times our marketers are pressured primarily from the new customer acquisition or ROI, but it is also important that we invest into technology, into personalization or AI or automation, and that's where the support comes from the IT leaders within the organization to invest into this technology. So it is a very critical part for marketers, and as well not just marketers but for the entire organization. I would say, to make sure that this journey continues, with the support of the entire organization leaders.
Good. So I would say ki Rahul, Naved and Vinny, if you are, whether they have completed entire cycle or anything they left out.
No, I think they covered the entire cycle, but I kind of resonate with what Prasenjit mentioned, right? Very often personalization is kind of relegated to the front office or the marketing folks to achieve, but it is really a cross-functional, cross-enterprise endeavor, right? And because of all that technology that is available today, I mean, maybe 15 years back, just being able to send an email with the first name and the second name was personalization, especially in our B2B marketing. But I think with the advent of technology, I think you can customize products, you can personalize services, etc. But all of that is not only the domain of marketing. It requires cross-functional involvement, expertise, and above all involves mindset across the organization to achieve personalization. So that's what I wanted to add.
Wonderful. Vinny, do you agree that CIO means is the Chief Information Officer? Someone they talk about Chief Investment Officer. Okay. Do you think that CMO is talk about Chief Innovation Officer?
Of course, I think it's something that, again, as Rahul was mentioning, that whether it's a CIO, it's a CMO, we all have to, work together as a team. I might envision that this is the roadmap that I have for the organization, or this is the way forward that I want to go ahead with. But if I don't have the support, or our thinking is not in line with each other, then I think we'll not be able to reach to the objective that we are gunning for, right? Because at the end of the day, whatever different departments are, and especially from a B2B standpoint, whether it's it's the channel, it's the marketing, it's your sales team, different cross-functional teams, but until and unless we might have our own sets of views, we might have our own set of healthy arguments from time to time, but we are all envisioning to reach at one common goal, that is the objective of the organization.
Naved, you have dealt with so many corporates.
Yeah.
More than 200 corporates you must be dealing with. What is your experience? Talk about it.
Yeah, so the thing is, it's, my friend said, we are sitting on loads of data, but it's not the responsibility or just marketeers can do that. It's a joint effort by CIOs, CTOs, marketeers, as well as the sales function. What happens is that data has to be nurtured. You need to keep a tab on the buying behaviors and other elements as well that help you go back with an experience model so that the end-to-end journey is taken care of. It's not at one end or the other end. If you have to work jointly, come back with solutions which gives a seamless customer journey and doesn't end there as well. We need to go back, maintain a loyalty, have programs like those so that there is a brand loyalty as well as a product loyalty getting created. So I think that's the crux of it.
Wonderful. So, this is unplanned questions. Okay. So like we want to see that how CMOs are geared to face any kind of challenges and need as per the market. CIO may invent it, CMO has to market it properly. Otherwise, what is the point of innovation? Anyway, so we are moving to the next question. How personalization is an important ingredient for brand marketers for influencing brand awareness, brand loyalty and lead generation? I will start with Rahul.
So I think personalization, first of all, is a huge trend,
Yeah.
okay? In fact, people are doing what we call hyper-personalization these days. It is probably one of the most important, crucial capabilities that companies and brands will have to develop. For many reasons, one of the reasons is that, you know, there is huge shift that is happening in buyer behavior, in the demographics of customers, everywhere in the world, but more so in emerging markets like India. And all of those changes have actually got even more accelerated after COVID, right? When there was this very recent McKinsey study actually done after, or probably, we should not call it post-COVID, but very recently, where they surveyed thousands of consumers across the world, and what they figured out was that almost 71% of the consumers who responded expected personalized interactions with the companies and brands that they interact with. Almost 76% of them said they get frustrated when they don't get interacted in a personalized fashion. And almost 75%, which is 3/4 of the people surveyed, had actually experimented or changed the way they would have interacted with a brand or bought a brand, right? Which indicates that there is huge change that is coming. Look at India itself. I think a significant part of our population is under 25, which is unlike anywhere in the world, right? And as a result, we have very little understanding of, and remember, these are consumers who don't have the baggage of our generation, or our parents' generation. So the way they approach brands is not with the same degree of loyalty that we would have approached, right? Which makes things very, very complex. And unless you personalize, and I recently attended another conference, which was a marketers conference, and as part of the keynote, one of the speakers spoke about two very interesting trends. Both of them are actually at loggerheads with each other. The first one was that consumers today don't want to be told what to do, right? They want to be involved. They want to be involved in something which is larger than themselves, which means they want to be a part of a community or a cause. But the second trend was actually the opposite of that trend, where they said they don't want to be treated like another transactional relationship. They want to be identified and recognized as unique individuals, right? So both of these trends, I think, are very important, and this is where the origin of personalization comes from, right? People want to be seen as unique individuals. When you walk into a hotel where you stayed 5 times in the last 5 weeks, you want to be recognized and be treated the way you would expect to. But once, and typically what happens, and by the way, we may talk as much about personalization as we want, but I think we are at a very, very nascent stage, especially in markets like India, where you walk into that hotel and they ask you, sir, have you stayed with us before, right? That's the worst kind of personalization you can have in the services industry. So clearly, this trend is going to stay. It is actually going to become stronger. So companies and brands need to start investing in personalization. And as I said, it is not. There is humongous amount of technology available to enable personalization, but unless you have the mindset and unless you believe that this trend is going to be a differentiator, that change is not going to happen.
You're right. Personalization is good, but hyper personalization is a risk. Yeah, Vinny, over to you. You want to add?
All right. I would like to keep this very, very simple. Personalization was always there, right? The trends might have changed, but we have seen that brands have personalized, maybe personalized ads in the past according to what they perceive is their audience, Okay, let me take an example, and you must be knowing, you know, washing powder Nirma. Who used to use it in the past? Our mothers, right? All the time. And if you see the ad of Nirma, you would always see women in that ad, right? Earlier. So there was a personalization that was done, keeping in mind or perceiving that women in the house are the ones who are, you know, washing clothes, they are taking care of everything. So the ads used to be more focused towards the women, right? Now we come to today, right? Now we don't know whether the men of the house or the women of the house who washes the clothes. It depends on who buys it from Amazon and in whose basket it will pop up again, whether it's Rahul or his wife, right? So, but now it's more data driven. So we will only be, you know, the products would be thrown upon us on the basis of the data and the analytics that have primarily, that has been showcased by the AI-driven tools that are working in the back end. So I think personalization has grown according to very, very specific needs because we are now aware of the needs. Earlier there was a certain amount of personalization that was always there, but there was a perception that people used to have, and then you know, the products were being personalized according to a certain amount of perception. Now we don't need that perception anymore because we have so many numbers which support that this is the kind of personalization that we need to do, and it's very, very imperative because one size doesn't fit all. Every customer, every organization, you know, that we as an OEM go to, right? They would, you know, there was a time when the customers used to be very happy and excited listening about, okay, what is your, what are the kind of customers that you are serving in US, okay? Give us some customer references. But now, in today's times, if we go to a customer, he would always ask, don't tell me what your organization is doing in Europe or, you know, in US. I would want you to tell me what are you doing very specific to India, so that he would, you know, he would want us to go into a level where have we personalized something, have we personalized a tool, something which is very specific to his peer within the same segment, and then he would come back to us stating that this is what I would need, maybe something which is very similar or something which is very customizable. And if you are able to, you know, give me what I need, is then which will make me happy. And, you know, it also helps in, personalization doesn't only help in, you know, acquiring a customer. It also helps in retaining a customer for a very long, long time, because at the end of the day, customers are very specific on what they need, and if you're able to give them what they need, is going to make them happy, and at the end of the day, is going to give, you know, all of us a retained business.
Wonderful. So Nikhil, you want to add something to it?
Okay, so again, I'm want to echo what Nini said about personalization has been always there. You know, it was a good time when your friend used to recommend you certain things and you used to just go and buy it, right? And as Rahul said, you know, personalization earlier in B2B days used to have just name. You put a name on the email, becomes personal. But personalization is not that today. I think everybody in this room would have, you know, screamed out if you think that your phone is listening to you, right? The personalization has reached to that stage. But why it is more important ingredient for the marketing in terms of personalization is it basically going to help your customers to get the preference and recommendation. So when it comes to the word personalization, and we have been talking about personalization, there is a very thin line between being personal and personalization. So I would rather say the recommended or preference-based marketing is the right word to that. For example, today, I think most of you would be watching a random movie which the Netflix is recommending you. Or in fact, 30% of Amazon sale usually comes from things that they think you can buy. Those kind of things are definitely helping as a personalization. But as a marketer, we need to understand where do we draw the line of personalization. I would say at least 2/3 of this audience in this room would really want to buy something which is being recommended, or they are receptive to buy due to personalization. But you will creep out, if this goes more personal. So the question that people ask is how and where is my data being used? And that's where the marketers really walk the thin line between going personalization or not to go to personalization. And these kind of questions definitely arise, and it depends upon where and which bucket actually start using this personalization. You cannot use the personalization just because there's a complete cold database or a new customers. I would really recommend a personalization where you have gained the loyalty of your customers up to a certain limit. For example, the customer is openly subscribing to certain things that they want. They want to see your newsletter daily or a weekly or a monthly, or they want to see your products and services specifically to certain things. This is where you start gaining the consent and maybe starting the journey of personalization. And that is what I feel personalization journey has to be taken at that point of time, instead of making it as a creep marketing.
Wonderful, thank you. So what we have studied, a study states that the marketing budget are expected to rise by 8.7% in the next year, presenting marketing leaders with opportunities to drive performance and results, but also added pressure to deliver greater ROI and increase revenue. Do you agree with the statement? Over to Naved.
Yeah, I agree with the percentage, few points here and there. But the marketing budgets and the dollars are increasing by the day. And if you compare it with 2019, it is increasing. And if you compare it by 2020 or 21, it's going beyond that, much beyond that. The only change we need to address is marketeers have certainly become very, very important to the organizations because we are bringing in a lot of customers now. The focus is shifting from doing marketing for awareness to a ROI-based marketing. A lot of effort is going on ROI-based. And for that, we need to be closer to the customer, closer to the partners, doing campaigns for them, understanding what's the problem they have, and finding a solution to that. Instead of doing air covers, which we used to do a lot, that will still continue. I was talking to one of my close friend in Leo Burnett. She was telling me that brands used to make 6 to 7 TVCs in a year have gone back to 1 or 2. So what's happening is the commercial is still happening, but those are more of digital in nature, more focused in digital, reason being that's based on ROI again. I need to measure how many customers or prospective customers are reaching out, what are the conversion rates, and what is changing to leads to an MQL to an SQL and things like those. So the campaigns and the marketing efforts are becoming ROI based. That's the need of the hour. And the regular marketing is continuing. But the good part which I'm witnessing is, which I was saying in my presentation also, that digital percentage of the entire pie of marketing spends is increasing. And within digital also, there are new things coming in. It's not that you do a few things on digital, there are new concepts coming in, you need to be evolving there. But the central focus has to be customer. It has to be the heart, at the heart of all the campaigns and the efforts. And I must tell you, we've done a lot of things around that in the past 2 years, and it resulted in great ROIs, which sit on a lot of BI data also. And that BI data throws a lot of, once you dissect the data, it gives us a lot of insights which helps us design the campaigns and then so on and so forth of retention and brand loyalty and things like those. But yes, these are good times and the marketing budgets are increasing by the day. But obviously the larger effort is towards ROI-based marketing.
Wonderful. Prasenjit, what is your take on it?
So percentage in my
No,
case
not I'm talking Prasenjit.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
So Deepak, yes, well, there's been an uptick. I think it still lags behind the budget of pre-pandemic 18-19. Two things I like to call out is I think a growing propensity for CMOs to move to customer obsession, okay, from a digital first. In the pandemic, it was all digital first. So basically what we need to do is we need to have a hybrid omni-channel strategy. We need to clearly map out what customers are doing, what channels they're using, okay, and then build up your strategy around that. So customer obsession is primary. Second, I think the investment, Deepak, has to be on technology, okay? So basically through AI, ML, you create data sets, you get a lot of insights, okay? One of them which comes in very handy is if you can do a propensity modeling of your target segment, you can really get deep down and have an increase in the revenue of 15 to 20%, okay? Those all comes from the data sets that we need to on AI, ML. Second, that can also come in, and basically the earlier question, personalization. Through the data sets, you can be hyper-personalized. You can get down to the level where you can map out which customer needs which offer. If you look at telecom companies, they do it perfectly well. Each of us in this particular panel may have different providers, and each of them will get a different offer based on its usage and seasonality, okay? Coming back to the ROI, yes, I think CMOs are playing a very pivotal role. They are now integral part of the entire business, starting from the first part of the journey to the last part. And ROI is intrinsically involved in it. Like for example, in my company, we carry numbers, okay? And we have to justify for every rupee spent, okay? So we have looked at matrices which could be in terms of the funnel, in terms of lead conversion, in terms of MQL to SQL, in terms of how it affects the final win, and overall profitability in the deals that we do. So everywhere marketing plays a part.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I have next question to other panelists, like, is there any need for creating data-driven, enriched customer experience focused on real people? I'll start with Vinny. Is there any need for creating data-driven, enriched customer experiences focused on real people?
Of course. I think everything nowadays is very, very data-driven. Anything that we do, whether it's me or the audience is sitting here, whatever projects that you take on, whatever campaigns as a marketer that I personally take on, it has to be very, very data driven. What our customers are looking for, what are the prospects nowadays are interested in, what is it that they would want to hear? Because it is not about us, all right? It is not about what we would want to share to the external world. It is more about what customers would like to hear. What is their need? What are the kind of information that we can provide them in for them to make holistic decisions? For example, in terms of cybersecurity, if they want to invest in a cybersecurity tool, until unless we people don't give them the relevant information, or we don't build content which makes sense for them, and they're trying to understand a lot of things. If they want to invest in, say, analytics, all right, they would want to understand that what is the need of my organization and how does the content that has been mapped out, or whether it's anything that we put together for them, whether it's a white paper, or whether it's a lead gen campaign, or whether it's an event or a round table that we are putting together, it has to make sense. So I think, and these kind of conversations also help us in understanding and reaching back to the to your question earlier, Deepak, on personalization, right? The more information that we get from our customers, the more their behavioral patterns we are able to understand, the more we'll be able to personalize to the needs that they're looking forward from people like us.
Wonderful. Rahul, how you will position and respond this question?
Well, I think I did touch upon this earlier, right? I totally believe that this is probably, the data-driven marketing piece is absolutely crucial for companies, for 2 or 3 reasons that I already mentioned, but maybe I'll stress upon the one that is probably the most important, is the fact that in the last decade or more, I think buyer journeys, irrespective of whether you are a B2B company, you're a digital native or a brick and mortar player or whatever you are, right? The buyer journeys have fundamentally changed. They are not linear anymore. If you recall, at least your parents' generation, if they got a chance to buy, let's say, a car, the journey was very, very straightforward, right? You will save up the money, take the money in a, if you could write a check, great, but you simply would go because there will be only 2 models available on sale, right? An Ambassador and a Fiat, and you will pay the money and wait for the vehicle to arrive maybe 3 months, 6 months later. But today, I think because of the choices that are available, because of the information that is available, and the way, the whole human, consumer behavior evolved because of all of this, is that journey is not that straightforward, right? People are interacting with those brands, doing a whole lot of research. They are doing virtual tours and stuff like that. Unless you have enough data to be able to identify what that person is looking for, where else has he been, forget about which other places the potential buyer may have been. If you are not able to track how he or she has interacted with your brand across multiple channels, you will not be able to, personalize the experience that you offer. So the answer is yes, very important.
You're right. Navid, what is your take on it?
Yeah, I love to answer this question actually whenever asked. We are actually practicing it. We have got a huge BI engine system sitting out of Chennai, and it's like a system to the world. And they sit out of Chennai, actually huge team sitting out there. So what we do is whenever a new vendor is coming to us in that particular category, or any of the campaigns we are doing, we at least take 3 to 4 years of data to understand their buying behavior, patterns, the kind of product they work particularly for that campaign, and what kind of other products they are selling. So it throws a lot of insights. We design the campaign basis that, it helps us. And one very critical thing is, it helps you cross-sell and upsell also. So if you're using your data methods, apart from designing some workable and ROI-based campaigns, you have upsell and cross-sell opportunities also coming up. That again adds to the ROI and your marketing efforts. So I firmly believe in data-based marketing, and over a period of time, it is gaining momentum, and most of the companies are using it actually.
Wonderful. Anita, you want to share some light on it?
Yes, absolutely. I think data-driven marketing is the key, right? Ultimately, when you're looking at personalization, you need to empathize. You need to understand your customer very well. If you are not doing that, you will not be able to personalize the way they would want to see at it. For example, if I'm not talking to my pharma customers in their language, their challenges, what they are facing, and how we can help them, achieve that or overcome that, it's never going to work out. Similarly to any other industry, or if you talk about, even for personalization for particular product need or whatever. So I think personalization, of course, and rightly said by my other colleagues, that, data is completely interwoven and, very much important to take those decisions and get those campaigns coming out the way you would like to really, talk to your customers and prospects about.
Good. So my next question is, can you share an example of personalization that you have experienced yourself personally or read about and really liked? Let's start with Rahul.
I think top of the heap, I think you mentioned, right, Amazon is Amazon largely because of their ability to personalize experiences, the way they make their recommendations, etc. I don't think anybody is even close to them. Netflix, of course, again, someone mentioned, great example of personalization. They know what you like to watch, and they serve you it in the fashion that you want it to be displayed for you, right? And of course, there are companies like Spotify who would, based on your choice of music, the kind of stuff that you typically listen to. They would create their playlists, even if, you know, there are two people with very similar interests, and there are subtle differences between your music choices. They will take care of that and ensure that your, you know, what you are served or your playlists are highly customized. Those are three American examples, but I thought it would be good to talk about a couple of Indian companies, two of them who happen to be our customers as well. I think Tata, the Tata New Pass, that entire initiative is really about, you know, one, of course, trying to create a unique identity of the customer across multiple brands and companies that Tata represents. So I think that's clearly, I haven't really experienced it completely yet, and I believe, I'm sure it will be going through, you know, cycle of maturity, etc. But I think the idea is a great idea to be able to one, cross-leverage the relationship across the companies and give them a unified experience. And another company which is highly unlikely in this case is Indian Oil, who's working on probably one of the largest CX transformation initiatives called Project Anubhav, where they are kind of, again, trying to identify and you know, create unique identities for their 20 million customers who would probably buy fuel at their retail outlets, and see how they can leverage that relationship across the life cycle of the customer and across their multiple touch points. So those, I thought, were probably two great examples from India.
Good. Anita, you want to share your some experience?
Okay.
I'll come to Prasanjit. He must have got so many experience because
So he was wanting
he's
to talk,
selling he's having the largest data center in the country. He will have a lot of experience.
Absolutely.
I'll come after that.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, yes, I agree with my friend Rahul that, you know, there are so many companies to lay down examples for you and, you know, bring out those on our day-to-day life, of course. What I would like to relate to and talk about is my own experience personally in my own brand that I'm working with today. So we at ISWA, we completely, you know, try to personalize our communications, our campaigns, our, you know, even when it comes to, like, for example, Vinny mentioned, you know, the connection that you bring in with every touch point that you do, right? The events that you participate or whatever. If you're not talking the language that the customer understands, you're out of it. You're not really able to relate to them, connect with them. And I think that's what typically we try to bring in. And I see a lot of the brands that are sitting here also doing that in their day-to-day lives. I mean, why talk about other brands? We ourselves are in our day-to-day lives experiencing it, doing it, and trying to reach out to our customers, understand them so well that you're able to articulate and give them what they want. You know, if you're not able to understand their pain points, their challenges, what they need, you will never be able to give them what it is, and the connect doesn't happen, and you're really out of it, you know. That's what I would like to bring in. So when it comes to any vertical-wise campaign, region-wise campaigns, customers do ask, you know, who's the other customers that you have in this particular vertical that I'm talking about? How are they using it? How can you help me? You know, each and everything does matter, and, you know, that's the example, real-life example that we go on in our personal lives today.
Wonderful. Prasanjit, do you want to share your own experience?
No, so I'll take a different route altogether, a different flavor, not talking shop. I'll talk about story. Marketers are storytellers. And it's not a story, it's actually a real incident that happened many decades back in Australia. So Coke in Australia was facing a hell lot of problems. Okay, the adoption was very, very bad. So they had the best of the brains fly down to Australia, but they couldn't do anything about it. And then suddenly Eureka struck. They decided through algorithm, they will take around 150 names, most commonly used names in Australia. Okay, what they did, they have the names pasted on that particular Coke cans and put it across. They did a lot of advertising, starting from setting up kiosks where you can go and put your names. They did billboards, they did the digital, everything. Can you believe it? This went viral, okay? People coming to the kiosk to have their names, okay? And they call this a share a campaign, share a Coke campaign, okay? This is one of the most successful personalizations done in a mass product with no differentiation, and this was absolutely eureka. This was actually in the Harvard Business case also. The amount of personalization can affect millions of people, and the profit of particularly this campaign and the revenue went through the sky.
Wonderful. Anyone want to add any point? Yes, please, Naveed.
I want to add slightly different from whatever has been discussed. You talked about .coms, you talked about apps and all that. I personally was discussing with, called up actually one of the retailers and a big retailer which is into primarily tech products. And instead of telling me the price, the offers and all that, he asked me what exactly is the solution you're looking at. Then he came on a video call. Then he started showing me different kind of products which meets to my requirement and then provide the solution. So that means, it's not only, the apps and other stuff are coming back to you with certain recommendations which Rahul talked about, the Netflix case and stuff. It's happening at retail also actually. And they are looking at different means of doing it, using the technology to do it. So which means a lot of personalization is, it comes across our way of life on a daily basis.
Wonderful. So we have got a wonderful input. Rahul, you want to add something?
I just wanted to add, I think the epitome or the highest level of personalization that can be achieved is the one that the friendly neighborhood Kirana store offers, right? Where you can take udhar, you can take, you don't need to buy a specific quantity, he can home deliver, I don't think anybody is able to. The closest that I experienced was the LIC, where the agent would probably be sitting in your office, would be an employee of your office and customize the plan for you. I think that is one great example. But the problem is, I think we are far, far away from, true personalization, because on the way from Gurgaon to this hotel, the same financial institution called me, three different people offering me a loan which I didn't want, or stuff like that. And that's the worst form of data-driven marketing that we can do. And I hope when we say personalization, it should be in the way that all of us discussed here, right? Otherwise, you will probably have somebody selling you life insurance after you're dead, which doesn't make any sense, right?
Wonderful. Nitin, you want?
Rahul mentioned, so I recalled one of the real good personalization examples, so I just want to share. So one of the places that I have, like second house, we do not have like Domino's or anybody around, so there is a very local outlet, pizza outlet. So after a few days, I just called them and said, I want to order pizza. And I asked them, what's the menu? No, I did not have a menu in place. They don't have an app in place. So, but they had the data, right? So it's a data-driven personalization they had in place. So they said, so this is what you ordered last time. Do you want to repeat the order? It's as simple as what's happening on Domino's or whatever, right? So it's not just the bigger people or bigger giants need to take that step. Anybody or everybody can take. And it was very quick and very instant thing for me to just make sure what I want or something that I liked last time. So personalization is something that is going to continue. And this is one of the examples that I really recalled and I want to talk about, yeah.
Wonderful. So we have got a various type of inputs, various thought process from the different marketing leaders. We have a wonderful panelist out here. So what I could notice is personalization has also become a critical element in social media and recommender systems. The emergence of new technologies will continue to strengthen the personalization stack, helping marketers inch closer to their personalization goals. Personalization enables organizations to have more meaningful interactions with their audiences and make their customers' purchasing decision easier. So customers are often willing to share their personal data with companies. However, while some customers are willing to share their data, many have grown concerns about the data privacy. So what is the key takeaway from this session is, perhaps we will one day see organizations boasting a chief personalization officer, someone who understands both the technology and the user data to drive personalization efforts. Going forward, we are dedicated to helping clients understand their customers' need and habits change during economic recovery and beyond. Keeping in this mind, we are coming out with a new thought sharing platform called Face Off. That is opinion management platform very soon in this year probably, which is expected to go deeper into the new digital first world. Thank you so very much. You have been a wonderful panelist. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We will have a group photograph. थोड़ा आगे आ जाए.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Can you please put my presentation on? Okay, so this is me. I'm Navi Chaudhary. I'm the head of marketing at Ingram Micro, and I heads for India and SAARC. Joined this company 10 years back. I've been doing a lot of things. And this photo is by purpose for Mr. Deepak. This is our War India Award, which we got a few years ago. Yeah. Okay, so today I'm going to speak about the theme which we have today, which is optimizing the world of remote work. And I'm going to elaborate more on how Ingram Micro as an organization is helping on this front. As you all know, technology is at the forefront or at the heart of any remote work initiative we are taking. Without technology, this may not have been possible, and clubbing with internet is what the solution we are giving it to the larger audience. But this is very important. We live in the day of today and we say, we've achieved this, we're having this product, these services, and we are going to live with it. And in the mundane life which we have, and we used to do a lot of things on a day-to-day basis, we miss the point that it's moving very, very fast. And it's going to change soon again. So in the last 2 years during the pandemic, and after the pandemic, which is the current stage, you must have seen the kind of changes it brings to the table. We moved to the virtual conferences, and they suddenly realized after 3 months that it's not going to go well, and we have to change the way we operate in terms of engagements. And then there's a lot of solutions which came in, hybrid model came in, and a lot of other things. But we need to understand that it's moving very, very fast, and we keep a tab of it, and the kind of products we gave to the market are relevant to that only. So what has happened is, during the pandemic and obviously after that, the organizations have completely changed their digital strategy. There are more people within the marketing and the organizations who are into digital space. In my team itself, now I have almost 6 to 7 people only for the digital work. The marketing spends, which used to be 4%, and in any category on an average 9 years back, is moving towards 20-24% of the spends are happening on digital, with some of the categories are going up to 50% plus and 70% also. .coms like Make My Trip would have 80% spend only on the digital. That's how it's moving. So internet technology transforming the businesses across the globe. I give an example. We are soon going to launch some portals to driving more engagement with the partners, with the vendors, internally with the employees. And there's a platform we are creating, amalgamating all the platforms we have into one domain. So those sort of things, and we have to think for future. And that's the thing which is changing the entire world. Virtual accessibility of products and services. I have got my design house and as well as for digital sitting out of Buenos Aires, right? It's a factory to me. And we have never worked with them. We never knew them in the organization itself because we work in closer to 60 plus countries. Now, because of the digital world and the kind of things we're doing, we interacted with them and we're giving services to different vendors in India and different partners by using their expertise sitting out of Buenos Aires. And the collaboration have been really great so far. Similarly, giving services from Australia. My counterpart sits in Australia, have a great team, in Philippines too, and they have good content creators. They are giving me digital content, and we are refreshing it and doing a lot of campaigns around that. So the things are completely changing in terms of products and services too. And then obviously a value addition. So we are primarily known as national distributors, but unless we have a lot of things layered to it, you don't add value to that, right? So a lot of value additions we are bringing to the table, giving digital space to the partners. Even we have gone to a level that we are creating the social accounts for our partners and running campaigns for them. So that has become need of the hour. Earlier we used to think of putting up some roadshows, doing a lot of events and things like those, but things are dramatically changing now. So going further deeper into it, so there are smart technologies which are helping optimizing the remote work. So you've got cloud computing, so obviously it intensifies by the right set of tools for remote work. Unified communication, we all know the MS Teams of the world. So unified communication help communicate remotely and obviously in real time. Then IoT and AI, so this potential from technology is paving way for VR and AR. So all these things are clubbing together also and individually also are helping us driving the optimization of the remote work. And in all the categories almost we have got different set of products which we have and the solutions which we provide to the market. So on cloud computing, we primarily distribute and give solutions to AWS, Cisco, Cloud, Salesforce, and a lot of others. I'm just naming a few here. It's a very strong vertical with us. So cloud computing primarily is what? Is an on-demand computer system resources which helps you act faster, flexible processes, solutions, and the thing which they are obviously giving to us as a solution is making business truly seamless. So it's a complete seamless operation which we have. The professionals take mileage of that and do a lot of stuff around that. Then enhanced security. Any solution under cloud comes with a backup and a recovery plan. So that helps us in optimizing the remote work with right kind of enhanced security measures. And thirdly and most importantly, it gives employees more flexibility. Remote work from anywhere, they can do multitasking and things like those. So we at Vingra Micro obviously offers a range of cloud portfolio, and with customer-centric solutions is what we are offering to the market. Then unified communication. So with the help of unified communication, we can do typically a co-working space works, and it's obviously just online, and we have got instant communication which is happening these days. And the right sort of products like Cisco WebEx, Microsoft Teams, GoToMeeting, a lot of others, and we are all of us are using it. Even if we are not used to it, we have become used to it in the last 2 years. Rather, it creates a lot of frustration at times also that anybody is calling anybody at any point of time. But yeah, it offers a lot of flexibility. It offers a lot of solution-based approach, and you can interact, find solutions, go to market becomes very, very fast, and you can seek opinion, make solutions, and your entire portfolio becomes more stronger. So TeamViewer is another one. Your weekly one-on-ones have become very critical. Earlier, on a day-to-day life, you're just interacting with your bosses or maybe superiors, discussing a lot of quarterly reviews or weekly or monthly reviews. That has become very, very critical now. You must have experienced, all of you who are working in the corporates, that your weekly interactions, one-on-ones have increased, right? Because of the solutions being made available. That's the thing. And then your discussions with a larger team. If 4 guys are discussing on a certain matter which is related to any of the department or an issue, if you want to discuss with another one, maybe in the taxation for that matter, or maybe from a finance angle, from a logistics angle, you can club together a lot of people and find a solution there and there. So what it brings to the table is you're finding a solution in a very speedy manner now. So your go-to-market again becomes very, very fast. The cloud-based applications obviously helps driving the content, sharing of the content at a speedy manner. Earlier we used to do all that, vSend and all this stuff, so all of that been stopped, and your collaboration products helps you sharing of the content, and that helps in 2 things. One is sharing, another one is curating it also, right? So that helps a lot. Then, as I said, it's more detailed, which is it makes more spontaneous and fast-paced. So if I have to go back to someone with a certain solution, it takes 4 days, in the previous Pre-pandemic years, now it's much faster. I may go back the next day because I have got all the people at one room in a virtual world, and then I have the solutions and I can go back to them. So the overall, the unified communication and collaboration primarily. Communication comes from the apps which we have, and then obviously collaboration helps in terms of finally driving it and going forward with the solution-based approach. Then most importantly, the IoT and AI. Since there's a lot of ground being covered on the collaboration aspect, on the cloud aspect, the IoT and AI becomes very, very important. One of the events which we did with Dell, what happens is there are certain products which are, or services which you can't physically present, and you can give a solution also. So we make use of AI, and what we did is we showed them then and there with the help of certain devices, they can experience the product through an AI. And that's the thing which we have done a year back, and it's really keeping pace, and we're doing a lot of things around it. So obviously it empowers remote working, number one. Second is when combining with AI, AR, it gives you better results. And in Gram Micro, we are having solutions like RealWare. We have recently tied up with Pico. We recently did a launch event with them in Mumbai, and Pico have some great products which is helping in hospitals, manufacturing sector. So different sectors are coming together, and these AI-based products are really helping them working more efficiently and delivering, as I said, the solutions at a very, very speedy manner. And Crafty is another one, and few others is what we are distributing and keeping pace. Though we are continuously working on the traditional products, but whatever products we have in this domain are gaining momentum, and everybody understands that, and that's the thing we are putting our efforts more on in terms of manpower, everything to scale heights on these fronts. So that's it, that's what I have to say. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer. Okay, so thank you very much.